This looks interesting. But anyway, so we're gonna. Oh, maybe I should have warned Greg.
Yeah, you should totally read what's happening in the crew chat.
We're live.
Because I was gonna go live and be like, "Hey, we'll just, fuck."
Oh, we're live.
We'll
Sorry.
wait for her, but like, now Greg's away, so I guess we can just, hey guys, this is another one of the episodes in which we just kind of don't know what we're doing. But we can give an introduction, and I can just keep going forever, because, my name's Ali, and I do the best at bullshitting everything. Hey, we got a guest, and his name is Greg. Hey, Greg, we're starting the show.
What up?
All right, so we have Greg of Chugcore. Can you give us a quick description of what Chugcore does?
Basically, we're a full-service music promotion company that mostly promotes heavy music like deathcore and down-tempo and beat-down bands.
So fuck your following in reverse. We actually got some heavy shit. We have Eric Navarro.
Hey, gang.
We got James Boss joining us tonight.
It's finally my time to shine. Finally, a heavy episode. Finally. Hi, guys.
You sound like Zac Efron. It's just like it's time to do it. Like it's time to shine. Oh, and I'm Ollie. So tonight's episode is actually brought to you by Slaves. They're promoting a new record that's called "Our Record Label Doesn't Give Us Enough Money and I Need Drugs." Hopefully they'll be able to raise enough money so that they'll be able to go back on tour. Maybe next year when Kevin Lyman will like them again.
Jeez.
You don't like Slaves, don't. Ooh.
Well, he's got a personal issue with. Never mind.
Hi, sorry for being difficult.
Eric, I just caught on to what you were gonna say.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Did I come in at the wrong time?
No,
No,
we're just
perfect.
talking about slaves. We're talking about Warped Tour bands in American history.
Wait,
There's also
what?
Melissa, who's going to be joining us tonight.
Hi.
Say hi to everybody, Melissa.
Hi.
Suppy, everybody. So, this is the point of the show in which we ask everybody how their day was. We're going to ask James, since it's your time to shine.
Oh, God, hey. Besides, work, I got a new phone finally today. Ollie knows how much I've been struggling with the space on my phone, and I'm really excited because this is 64 gigs, but the only bad thing was none of my music transferred over, so now I have to manually go into my iTunes and drag everything over, but other than that, it was okay.
What's actually very odd is that I've heard no good things about iTunes recently. Like with iTunes Music. With,
It's pretty
their-
shitty. I don't want to get into that, though.
Is it that bad? I'm very sorry, James.
Yes.
Now, see, you would think that one of the innovators of uploading music onto a computer, besides Rhapsody, you would think that they would actually be able to get their shit together over a amount of time, right?
Nope, not at all. It's a pain
Well,
in the
Apple.
ass.
Thanks, Apple. Hashtag thanks, Apple. So, Eric, how was your day today? Yep, same.
It's getting better. No, it's good. It's been a long week. As you know, I got the baby who's been having some sleep troubles, but that's the most boring part. What's been really crazy was so I'm expanding my podcast into a whole network this fall,
That's very
and so now we're gonna go from 1 to 2 a week to 5 to 6 a week, and I've been working day and night to try to get all of that stuff set up to just go automatically, and we just made the shift from 1 a week to 3 a week, and that's as much as I can handle right now. But yeah, so it's been good.
So what format are you guys going to be taking? What will be the new?
It's basically the format's ADD, in that it's whatever. We're gonna keep doing what I normally do, which is once a week I have a podcast where I have a bunch of comedians on and friends of mine, Ollie, you've been on it, James, you've been on it. And we just talk about whatever it is, pop culture, crack jokes, bust balls, talk news, any of that stuff. Crack some jokes. And swap stories. And then I've got another guy who's taken over all the interviews that I used to do with comedians and musicians.
Brad,
And
right?
then there's also going to be a fantasy football podcast that I have an actual award-winning fantasy football expert who's going to do it with me.
Oh, nice.
And yeah. He's a friend of mine.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal, no big deal. Well, I'm saying it isn't a big deal because he already knew me. He wouldn't do this with me if he didn't know me. There's no way I could pull that.
Oh, poor Eric.
And then we're gonna do a couple of other interesting ones where we're gonna have them where me and a couple of the other guys from the website are gonna just pull up a different record every week that we want to like listen to and talk about. But the deal is one person in the group has to hate that record. And so that'll hopefully foster some interesting conversation about
I'm interested in that.
That's actually a very good idea. So I wasn't planning on doing a whole promotional piece for you, but where can people find
sorry.
where can everyone find this podcast for you?
I'm excited to tell my friends and my new friends about the things in my life. You can find it at erictriestoohard.com, which will be launching. It's launched, but it'll be like officially launched or whatever pretty soon.
Well, that's pretty cool. I am actually glad to see my friends doing things and having fun and stuff. Melissa.
I'm just trying to rip you off, Ollie.
It's like, oh yeah, Babetalk. Yeah, fuck Babetalk. They just got like,
I'm just taking your ideas,
Just stealing, like you know. No big deal. I thought I was a black man here. Hey, Melissa.
Jesus.
Hi, I hate my computer. What is going on?
I'm very sorry to hear that you hate your computer.
It's all good. No, this happened last time too, I think.
Yeah, actually during the interviews. It's like, oh, we'll just like, just leave.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Melissa didn't like your answer. She's getting out of here.
Bye.
Bye. Bottom of the screen, which is fine. I'm all for that.
Double the babes. So, what was your day today?
Mine? It was
Yes.
good. It was good. I worked. And I'm not sure if I've told people where I work, but I work as a technical writer for a automotive company. So that's pretty interesting. So manuals and stuff are assembly lines. And then I just got off the phone with a guy from a local venue in the Michigan area because I'm trying to be like, yo, like I want to volunteer because someday it'd be awesome to manage bands and stuff. And he's like, yeah, like you can totally come on board. So I'm meeting with him Saturday, so I'm super stoked about that as well.
Nice.
So,
that's very awesome.
I'm excited. So yay.
Now you would think because this is a music podcast that I'd actually ask you about the venue and like who you'd be working with and what bands come through there. But I'm actually a little bit more interested in a technical writer for motor parts.
I know a lot of people just what is that? Yeah, so basically what I do is I just put together, when you look in your car in the little glove box, they have like the little manual things. I do those except for in bigger forms because they're for the actual things they're like for the actual machines that put together like your car door or your car hood. And it's like, this is how you operate this robot and how you repair this robot. So basically it's just a bunch of like wordsmithing and Microsoft Word formatting, but
why are you helping Skynet?
The machines are going to be taking over.
Because I don't know. Because it pays well, I guess.
Yo.
No, I like the people.
Wu-Tang. Cash rules everything around me. Now see, like I like had a small victory. My friend showed me how to change a tire the other day. So like I felt on top of the world.
Yeah.
But apparently you can like, take the motherfucker apart and like, reassemble.
If it makes you feel better, I can't take apart tires, so you're good.
But
Probably not good.
Probably wouldn't be a good time. But I mean, that's cool. So anyway, but about the actual venue stuff that you were talking about, who's the promoter that you're going to be working alongside?
He's not a promoter. Well, he knows promoters, but his name is Rich. He's the owner of this bar called Hatchie's in like the Metro Detroit area. But he knows people at the Crowfoot, which is in Pontiac, which a lot of like bands come through. I'm trying to think of bands that I've seen there. I know no, more like I'm trying to think. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
The Beatles.
Yes, the Beatles, definitely the Beatles.
The Stones.
Yes. There's a lot more local acts come through it, but I've seen like medium-sized alternative bands Hold on, I'm gonna look this up on the computer.
Okay, we'll take your word for it.
Okay, but have you heard of the band Fighting Season, by any chance?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're from Canada, right?
Yeah, they played at
Yeah.
Hatchie's, so that's the
Them
band.
boys, we actually had them on the show before.
Oh,
Now
they're
that we
like,
have them on the show before, they're actually sponsored by City to City. City to City is a little branding company that's out of Hamilton, New Jersey. So
Nice.
we're just plugging everybody in tonight.
I guess we are.
This is one
Yeah.
hell of a podcast. So hey, let's actually go back to the kid that we brought on to actually interview. Hey, Greg.
Hey.
We're plugging in like everybody, but like just totally not talking to Greg whatsoever. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing well.
That's good. How was your day?
All right, well, let's see.
And please tell me you have about like 6 things to plug in tonight.
I don't. Let's see. Just did some work in the morning. I actually started doing part-time at my job so I could have more time to actually focus with my music career, which I'm hoping will be able to become more of like a full-time thing. Today, actually, we talked to some of our good friends in this band called Dealey Plaza from Florida, we're going to be showcasing some of their music later. So we're helping them print their CDs and ship them out to all their customers. Basically, it's a service that Chugcore has been doing for a lot of bands, just trying to alleviate some of the stress that band members are facing, having to keep up with all these online stores and interfaces and figuring out who ordered what and printing labels and shipping them out. It's a whole headache for a lot of bands. So we're trying to take that stress off them and do it ourselves. We do it for currently about over 30 bands right now. So we're quickly expanding. We've only been doing it since March.
Wow.
Wow. Wait, really?
Yeah, that we've printed we've printed about 30 different bands physicals right now, and we started in March. Yes.
Now that is going to make for a beautiful conversation later in the night when we give this man a full interview. Because I have a bunch of questions, and it's really awesome to see people that, like, you know, especially in a very short period of time, take on so many other people and be like, yo, we're going to remove that headache, put it all on us, and then make you smile.
Yep.
You are literally Tylenol. So, that's a thing, and we will get to that later in tonight. But we have a bunch of stuff to go over. The first thing that actually I wanted to go over with you guys, and it's a little interesting. So recently, Census Fail has kind of been very in the news because of Warped Tour and Buddy's very outspoken attitude against and I feel like an idiot because I'm blanking on the band that he's been having like hella beef.
Genghis Khan.
Attila. It's Attila.
It was Attila? Okay, so it was
Yeah.
Attila, yeah. So they've been going at it for like the past forever, and Buddy has always have like, you know, a very outspoken mentality about him. But recently, last night, he went onto Twitter and he had to summarize like 17 all. In one paragraph, people in newer and younger bands are extremely uneducated as to proper behavior. We are in serious need of people in the community to speak up and set examples on how to conduct yourselves online, at shows, and in private, because apparently there are a lot of men who aren't getting the message, don't care, and don't think their actions are causing irreversible harm. That could be said for a lot of different people, and that's not including just guys. Now, recently in the news, we all had, like, you know, the Warped Tour scandals with, like, you know, Front Porch Step and, like, you know, everything else with other bands and just, like, guys in general, like, well, we're getting too broad. But do you guys think that, like, within our scenes, because we're all from different places, so we all have seen different type of kids that go to shows. We all have seen different band members act in certain ways, some in the spotlight, some not in the spotlight. Is there really, like, a big issue with guys in bands or people in bands or people in the scene having shitty views and not really giving a damn? Or is this Buddy being too sensitive?
You go first. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm not sure if it's really whether one's being sensitive or not, but I think that right now we're at a time where like third wave feminism is coming about, and it's a new wave of like civil rights, especially with the like huge gay rights movement going on, and I think because of this, it's bringing everything to light a lot more, and I think that has a lot to do with it. whether or not more people need to be aware of the actions. I mean, of course, you always have to be aware of your actions, but I think that it's only just brought to light more because there's more of a focus on it, especially with our generation, if that makes sense.
Now, have you ever noticed that there have been like individuals that might have had like shitty views, like one of your friends, you might have been at a show and a girl might have been wearing shorts in the pit, and like a guy looked over and be like, "Huh, slut," and
To be completely honest, I've never really had I've never had any problems with that at all. I have mosh pitted and crowd surfed multiple times. Skydived.
just skydiving, be like flying right from the airplane onto the pit. Catch me at Warped Tour next year, jumping from a propeller plane.
You know, Buddy's right. This generation is out of control.
It's just out of control.
There's no etiquette at shows anymore.
Now, James, I know you were gonna make mention of something.
I've seen it be an issue before. I've seen like stuff happen, so it's definitely worth bringing it up for sure. I think like I've seen it. I'm trying to like think of the right way to say this. I have witnessed stuff like really shitty stuff happening, and I think that's worth talking about and trying to like improve so that shit doesn't happen in the future, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because like it definitely does happen.
Well, with what Buddy said recently, like just this post was yesterday, you said?
Yes, this post was the Twitter rant was done on the 27th.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I remember seeing that full thing. And it was more general than, I guess, the previous week when it was very specific of this band, and this band are inappropriately harassing, hitting on, or sleeping with underage girls. Is basically what he was much more upfront about the specific issue that was going on. And so it's kind of like, if we're going to look at it from that angle, then I kind of take his word for it when he says, oh, well, bands today don't seem to know how to act, because he's implying, I've been on this tour for a long time, I've been in this scene for a long time, bands kind of knew, you stay away, you don't mess with this part of your fan base. Oh, I can't hear Ollie, you all right? Okay, you don't mess with this part of your fan base, and so it ends up being like, nowadays, if these bands, like I guess he had specifically mentioned Attila, are hooking up with or attempting to hook up with blood on the dance floor level aged fans, that it can be like it's an issue, and you don't want your scene to have that reputation. I mean, we all know the reputation that Front Porch Step has, that that Blood on the Dance Floor has, that a lot of those other bands have, of Falling in Reverse, well, whatever, Ronnie Radke. You end up with all these, You end up with all these reputations, and do we really want our pop punk, and metal scenes to be looked at by the general public as a bunch of like creeps?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now, Greg, you come from a different scene. Do you see the same issues that the pop punk scene is currently going through with pretty much quote unquote fuckboys?
That's the word I thought James was looking for.
Yeah.
Well, I would say definitely coming from the scene that I'm in, which is focused on more heavier music, you'd be lucky to even see two girls at most of the shows.
Yeah.
We'd love to harass women if they were hanging out.
If they were actually here. It's like, boy, I'd love to sleep with an underage girl if they only would show up at the shows. Shoot.
Yeah, they're not really about that music.
I'll make an appearance and skydive at those shows.
Just coming on like a fucking parachute. Just like heavy shit going on, but you just like look up, it's just like one single girl. All the guys are like, whoa! Yes! Thor has finally given us. So the one thing that I was talking with my friend the other day, and like it's very interesting to see that well, not very interesting because Buddy's always at least this past year has been like very outspoken, and there's been a lot of media press on there about people changing their attitudes in the scene. One of the main things that I've seen people become very outspoken on is having people of color inside the scene. Generally, I haven't really, because I'm a person of color, haven't really like you know, been like, oh, we need like more of a stronger presence in the music community because, like, we. I don't know if anyone had known it, but like we still make music, and I've seen a lot of kids go to shows. And recently, the band Pines had ran into kids, and they were the one girl was putting them down hardcore for pretty much just being like white and making music at a show. For those type of activists, it really seems as if they're looking more to. They want more people of color to come out to shows and to make music, but do you think that it's an oppression thing, or is it just that black people and people of color aren't making music? Because she was saying that like white people oppression.
I mean, in the down tempo scene, there are a lot of people of color in that scene. Like I'm sure, like I don't know, maybe it's because it's heavier or whatever, but there definitely are a lot of people of color in that scene, at least in the scene that Greg is involved in. So.
No,
that's a possible.
Have you act like so? People of color seem to be pretty predominant in the scene.
I would say that I've definitely seen people from a lot of varying ethnicities playing in these type of bands. But I mean, from the area that we come from, New York City, I can say definitely when you go to one of these type of shows, that's a deathcore or down tempo or primarily a show where most of the people are moshing, I do definitely see a lot of people of ethnicities there. I mean, I guess. They just like to throw down, I guess.
Now, see, like I can easily see that it being New York City, like it's a very culturally diverse place to begin with, that you would have no issue. So, but that's actually very cool to see.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing being directly in between Baltimore and DC. I think it might just be a big quote unquote big city thing, where you end up like pop punk, historically speaking, is like one of the whitest types of music, if we're gonna stereotype. But like when I started playing in a pop punk band in the area, I mean, I've got two guys who are mixed race in our band, and so we also had the first couple shows we played, every band was like, there's a black guy, there's an Asian guy, and a couple of white guys, or there's like 4 black guys and a white guy, and now like we just played. The local Ernie Ball stage at Warped Tour, and of the 4 or 5 local bands that got picked to go on there, not a single one, unless maybe there was one, all-white band, and they were all like pop punk bands. And it's just really interesting seeing that kind of diversity, to the point where like I may have noticed it the first show or two, but like at this point it's like somebody has to point it out, and I go, oh yeah, that's right. I guess it's almost weird to see an all-white pop punk band now.
Oh, that's very interesting. Now, Melissa, what scene are you from? I know we went over this the week that you had actually come on, but because I have a memory of the squirrel, I totally forgot.
No, you're good. I'm from the
no, we said, because we were talking about cars and stuff earlier. Yeah. Wow, damn, my memory is really awful.
Motor City.
Hey, we have Melissa joining us on the show today.
What's up? Granted, though, I come from a... I don't even know. I don't see a lot of people of color in my scene, but at the same time, ours is really indie. It's either super indie or metalcore, which is really interesting. I really haven't figured that one out often. I mean, there are a few, but at the same time, the majority of people I went to high school with were white, so it's because I see them all the time.
You can say crackers. It's okay.
basically, yeah, crackers.
We're in a safe place.
It's a safe zone. You can say honky. It's fine. I think the larger issue, it's almost like 2 points. One is alternative culture, or whatever, punk rock culture, whatever you want to call it, I think has seeped more into the mainstream, and it kind of now just blurs any lines of diversity, just because it's not I don't know, when I was in high school, if you had a mohawk, you got made fun of. I know people who 5-6 years older than me, if you had a mohawk in high school, you got the shit kicked out of you. Now if you have a mohawk in high school, you're the #1 jock. It's the weirdest shit that's it's punk rock cultural appropriation is what it is. But on the other end of it, though, you had mentioned a group calling oppression. Now, it seems like the kind of oppression they were referring to was you feel oppressed, so you don't try to join the scene, or you don't try to make this music. And I think that actually does the opposite of what I mean, these people are probably, I assume, pretty liberal, like myself, like myself definitely. But I feel like they're implying the wrong message, because it's almost like they're saying, well, you're not strong enough to go against. Oh, there's a roadblock in your way from joining something. Oh, everyone in your group is oppressed, and therefore you can't overcome that roadblock unless we help you. And so that's kind of like what frustrates me when people make it like, oh, well, the system made it so you won't even try. And it's like, well, that's stupid. Like, I don't think people feel oppressed and therefore they go, oh, I can never do this because somebody might give me shit for it. I feel like any artist, especially artists, should
artists will,
have
artists will always want to like break that barrier, but of course, like, you'll always have those individuals out, like, be fearful of wanting to, like,
join a scene, maybe. I can see that.
To join a scene, or like going on like a very low level. You'll see 3 kids bowling, and you want to bowl, but they all look cool, and you're just like, I wish I was cool.
Is there nothing to do in your town? The cool kids go bowling?
The cool kids go bowling, roller skating. But Eric, I actually had wanted to pick your brain a little bit, since you're the registered punk dad around here. We'll move on to our next subject. There haven't been a lot of bands that have been as outspoken as Buddy of Senses Fail. Is this the beginning of like a new and like what Senses Fail has put out shirts that have been queer allies, very outspoken about like kids. They're starting to get very political in their marketing or in their branding. Are we seeing like a new type of like hopefully like trend? Not trend.
You mean, are we bringing punk back?
Are we bringing punk back?
There's like, I don't know, because you can say that Kraft is outspoken too, but they're fucking idiots.
So if you go, just contextually speaking, I wasn't going to shows in, the late 70s and early 80s, or the late 80s when like hardcore was happening. I only know music culture pretty well from 2000 on. So from when I used to go to Warped Tour or, smaller, like tours when punk was, like political punk was very, very popular, the Bush years really, if you go back to 2002 to 2005, you go to Warped Tour, Senses Fail is there, but they're singing about, like, killing ex-girlfriends or whatever they sing about. And then they're the odd ones out because every other stage is anti-flag and whatever, like whoever else you want, Total Chaos. I'm trying to think who was there in 2002.
Probably like NoFX and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. Like NoFX was more like, God, I'm getting so rigid and stupid with that. But yeah, NoFX, they would just like, they're more like the South Park where they'll tear everything down and make fun of people. But I'm talking like bands that would get up and talk for 2 straight minutes about directly. Hell, even I once even saw My Chemical Romance go up and talk for a straight minute to a sold-out stadium at a Green Day show and say, girls, if these asshole security guards or anybody who's on the crew tries to trade you backstage passes for sex, you punch them in the face. It's like, because that shit shouldn't fly in our scene. And, like, that was 2004, I guess, maybe 2005. Like, this isn't a new sentiment. This is hopefully something that can get brought back. But that's definitely the punk culture is definitely gotten, I guess, watered down. And maybe that's because we've moved on from more serious issues, and now we're kind of figuring out, okay, what's the next civil rights movement we need? What's the next barrier that we need to break as a society? And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, I feel good now, so let's just get really fucked up and bang everybody. And that's kind of the culture I think is taken over Warped Tour. And who knows, maybe we'll see something change in the future.
Well, not to, like, piss on getting drunk and fucking people, but it would be great to see, like, to kind of, like, push it back to the old times, like, be outspoken, start to talk shit, get people involved, start being good people again.
I think all those are actually anti-flag lyrics. I think that's like a verse. Verbatim.
Oh, I love anti-flag.
I want to stick my dick in something, but...
That's Broken Side.
So, moving on. I was trolling the internet, and I also saw an article on why do people mosh. It was a small article. It just asked people, why do you mosh? And James Boss, I know you mosh. Greg, I know people in your scene mosh. Eric, I don't know if you can mosh anymore, and Melissa, you're a girl. But I
Hey,
need to ask you
I
guys.
moshed in Attila for the fuck of it, so.
But I would actually love to pick your guys' brains, since moshing is generally seen as a wild, chaotic, why the fuck would you do type of thing. But we all do it. Or some of us do it, like those who enjoy partaking in slam dancing. And,
I'll do it for like 30
two-stepping.
seconds until I realize how violent the crowd is, and then just hide in the back.
And I'm also a smoker, so I'll only be going for 2 seconds. But however, I would actually love to know what has propelled you guys to really push your way into moshing at any point in time, or stage diving.
To be honest.
Because granted, it's not really a normal thing to do. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
Valid.
I think explaining moshing to my parents is just kind of like what I'm doing right now.
Hi, son. Why do you mosh?
I don't know. I just like when you hear heavy music, you're just like, hey, this is heavy. I want to hit things. That's kind of it.
Would that generally be the type of consensus of the group?
I think it's like it's just like more of an in the moment thing. Like I think you're at a show, there's a lot going on, there's a ton of people there, and like the band's on stage going wild, and you see all these people and they're having a great time, they're swinging their arms around. Like eventually, like when it's one of your first times coming to a show, like you start to notice what other people do, and eventually you pick up on their habits, and that's what gives people the idea, like, oh, maybe I should get in there too, and like show them what I can do, and like it's really just a thing where it's in the moment, and you're just like, let me push my way into the pit, and like let me go nuts because I love this song that's playing right now, or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Would you guys say that there is a proper way to mosh, or is there a proper way to stage dive?
You will be.
This is something that the article did not drop through, and coming fresh off of Warped Tour.
When you
You
stage
will
dive,
look like.
Oh.
Oh, you go for stage diving, yeah.
when you stage dive, do not kick over a microphone stand. I did that at the state champs day at the Gramercy Theater, and I felt like an idiot.
The fans will not be happy.
Yeah, no, I felt really bad. I tried to push it back up. I'm like, I'm so sorry. They're like, just stage dive. Because I'm one of those people where I mess up and then I try to make it way better, and then people are just like, just shut up and do your thing because I just take so long to apologize. So, yeah, that's my experience.
They're trying to play a song and you're in the bassist and you're like, listen, I'm really sorry. What? I said I'm really sorry.
What?
That would be me.
Damn.
That would be me.
Now, I did have something interesting in which my brother had brought up to me that I have always kind of knew of. Hi, everybody. This is Mackenzie, and he's been
What just
listening to
happened? Okay.
And this was his recently first Warped Tour, and I am always outspoken about stuff, so I really can't always say stuff. But Mackenzie has been going to shows for maybe
a year.
A year now, so this kid's fresh blood to the scene, and he hasn't noticed a lot of things. He'll go into pit, but the one thing that he really doesn't understand is the crowd surf culture. And if you want to give a quick PSA, this is his.
It's only at festivals. I was at Skate and Surf and Warped Tour. So, thing I don't
Just
understand.
take over his spot.
I am. This is I need something to. I gotta talk to people about this. So, when I'm in like shows, like Philly shows, kids crowd surf. You're supposed to like jump on someone and then kind of crawl your way over to the front so you get closer to the band that you're seeing. I've seen kids take their phones, act like they're Jesus Christ, and just say, "Take me," and then they just go, and then they don't do any work, and you expect everyone else just to carry you, and it doesn't make any sense. At Warped Tour, there was kids the pit opened up. I think it was like 1 year or something like that. The pit opened up, so there's people in the back, the pit, people up front. People were trying to crowd surf way at the back, so then when they got to the edge of the pit, they just dropped because no one picked them up because they were all dancing and slam dancing. I'm like, do you not understand this? That's my only gripe about these festivals is just people act like they're Jesus and just have them just take them, and it just
Jesus Christ, renowned crowd surfer.
it just it just bothers me in no way. That's my only rant about this. Everything else is fine. I don't care. It's just don't be Jesus.
I don't-
Make some kind of effort
Jesus.
to make your way to the front or something.
Jesus, take the mic.
Because I'm like 6'3", like almost like 200 pounds. So I don't crowd surf as much because I'm a big guy. I know it's some work to get into. And there's people who just put as dead weight, and it's just like, I was like, it's a lot of work just for no reason at all.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
makes it that people won't go all the way up to the front. They'll just sort of stand on the sides by the pit. I mean, the people in the front, they're just going to have to know that people are going to want to crowd surf. It always happens, especially at big festivals. Like, that's where it's definitely by far the most predominant because there's the most people there, so there are enough people to hold you up. So, I mean, I think people just realize, like, if you're in the front, yeah, you're going to be inconvenienced by the crowd surfers, but that's the choice you make for being right up in the front.
Exactly.
No matter
yeah.
where you are in a show, it might not always be the most enjoyable, but you have to make the best of it and have a good time. That's what I think.
With crowd surfing etiquette, and I I think it's very cyclical where people learn how to properly do it to the point where the fewest people could get hurt or the fewest people, I guess, are at least inconvenienced by it. Because when I remember when I was coming up, it was you didn't just jump on people. You didn't Jesus Christ selfie it. What you did was, like, you tap the people around you and you point up. So
Yeah.
I want to go up. And then those people would tap the people in front of them to let them know a human body is about to fall on them. And then they all pick you up together and push you into an awaiting group. And that's how it was always done. Nobody really got dropped. Nobody kicked anybody in the head. Nobody, like, so, but what's funny is in the last 4 years, I've seen the Wonder Years play once a year in Baltimore. The first time I saw them, kids were just jumping on top of other kids, kicking wildly, like swimming on top of the crowd, kicking their feet, like people getting dropped, people not. So in the next year, it was a little better, and every year it gets a little better. Like they're learning. They're learning how
Well,
to do
you
it.
know, it's actually odd, and it's funny that you have brought up the Wonder Years. I had come from a culture in which the pop punk scene was just like, no holds bar. I learned how to crowd surf from the youth. So I have really, like, not a lot of, like, I fucking know how to do so. But from what I had learned from the East Coast pop punk scene, especially when it peaked around, like, 2011, 2012, a lot of the hardcore kids from the East Coast got into pop punk.
Mm-hmm.
The hardcore kids would just they would be your Broad Street brawlers. They fucking throw down, throw bows. I've heard kids with fucking bats and trash cans and like shit was rough.
You're like, what
But
the
then
fuck? This is a Newfound Glory show. Like, what is that?
Yeah, literally back in the day, absolutely. And a lot of these kids that came from the hardcore scene, they started playing pop punk music. Like, well, let's take apart True Things. They had a really hardcore following.
Don't they sound like Man Overboard meets Mayday Parade though?
Yeah, it
Pretty
didn't
much,
matter what
yeah,
these twins sounded
but like
That's-
and that was the scene. Like Zach Ernstein was in a hardcore band before that he came into Man Overboard. Like the East Coast had a strong hardcore following, and then out of nowhere, like they're like, all right, we're a little sad, but it's not sad enough for us to beat down kids. Let's just start to be a little pop punk, and that's why pop punk had a lot of hardcore kids come out to their shows on at least by my area, and then they would just get the same pileups you would see in hardcore shows, the stage dives you see for the hardcore shows, and just a lot of kids just climbing on each other, just rolling each other off of their backs, just so, and that's where I had learned to stage dive and stuff. Like the tapping, I'm just like, what are you fucking tapping me on the shoulder? Like, did I drop a wallet? And then I'm stage diving and be like, run and jump. So then, and that's what I learned. And then eventually I saw kids be the courteous kids that when real friends would go on, they're really anxious, but they're just I don't want to really ruffle any feathers, and I'm gonna I love you like the summer. And so That drove me nuts. But the one thing like Mackenzie had always said, and I wanted to bring up like if there was a proper way to do anything, because you'll always see in the Defend Pop Punk group kids be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sick of stage divers. I'm so sick of S, Y, and Z," which I don't think would be much of an issue if there were kids not literally relying on everybody to just be like, "Take me now," woo! And then just. I crowd surfed at Warped Tour. It's like, no, princess. You literally had 2 people the entire time from the engineer's booth all the way up to the stage carry you. That's not crowd surfing. That's a fucking like car that you just like floated. You floated yourself on a car. A chariot. Thank you. You had a chariot.
There was a show that my band played about, I guess, like a year and a half ago, and you want to talk about like ridiculous DPP culture things. And there was someone there who was like a promoter, someone that we all know, but you guys don't know that I know this. It doesn't matter. But this is a very prominent person, not famous by any means, but a very prominent person. And I walked by this person saying, I just cut the snippet of conversation. I'm so over moshing this year. And I was like, okay, all right, sure, whatever it is. Like, that's something you can be so over for this year. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we all already just talked about moshing as kind of almost a spiritual experience where you just kind of get taken away by it. Whether you're throwing or push moshing, whatever it is. But just the idea of talking about it like it's a goddamn fashion choice, it, like, frustrates the shit out of me.
That's probably why it drives me crazy when kids want to, take their iPhones and, pretend they're GoPros and be like, "Here's me going up to the mountain."
Oh, dude. I definitely got a GoPro recently, and I hit puberty recently, but I got a GoPro recently, and I now that I have the infant, I think I need to figure out ways to put the GoPro on my head and then do just, infant stuff. I don't know exactly how to make that work, but just, I don't know.
What you should do is actually put the GoPro on the infant and leave the infant alone for an hour.
Oh, boy. I think you can make that into a show.
That sounded like so much worse. It's just like, no, leave the infant alone for an hour just because the camera doesn't mean you need to leave the infant alone.
I want to just, in the editing, I want to use slow-mo and speed up and crazy, over-the-top guitar effects and just make it like an extreme sport video. Yeah. And then at one point she'll puke, and I'll be like, "Puke and rally!"
Be like, "Whoa, baby, you're so crazy, you partying too hard." Just keep throwing your kid up. It's like, "Come on, baby." It's a frat baby. This is awful. I should never be a father. This is the shit that I'm gonna end up doing to my baby.
I've been singing horribly offensive songs, but changing the offensive lyrics to stuff that has to do with being a baby. I sing a lot about pacifiers. Change a lot of genitalia references to pacifiers. It's pretty sweet.
We should look into the new R&B songs and just start to change out dick for pacifier.
Yeah, yeah.
The context might be a little odd, but the infant. What?
I was gonna say I need to make an R. Kelly children's album, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of what he makes.
Jesus.
At least in the
God bless this podcast. So,
did we talk about R. Kelly last time I was on?
Every time.
I'm pretty sure we did. R. Kelly comes up about once every other episode.
And he comes a lot more than that, probably.
Depends on how much you piss on him.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Boy, the black guy's not even.
It's like at the fair. It's like at the fair when you have the squirt guns and you shoot the clown thing and it fills up. That's you can imagine with R. Kelly.
I don't want to imagine.
Hey guys, we got Greg. Hey Greg.
I'm still here.
Alright, so while we're casually just talking about we're not. I'm not even gonna nope. Welcome to Babetalk, everybody. So, the real reason why we actually put this podcast together while we're talking about piss and R. Kelly and babies.
Wait, are we live?
Greg, who runs Chugcore,
Yes, sir.
is going to be answering some questions, and he actually has a really awesome thing going. But we're actually going to dive into that right now. The way that I see the people on my screen is going to be Eric, James, and then Melissa. We're all going to go through and ask our questions. We're going to give a quick synopsis, and then later we're going to share one of the songs from your labels, your labels bands, your band's labels, your band's label.
We are distributing the record, the upcoming physicals for our friends in Dealey Plaza. We are currently right now we're just a online distributor, so we don't sign bands to long-term contracts. But our goal is more to work with a broad range of bands and just be able to help all of them, be able to easily help all of them print records of their albums as physicals, because people love to have something that you can hold in your hands.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Now, see, and you have like a large amount of bands that you've worked with, and you said since March, correct?
Yes, we started printing physicals in March, but that's just our newest endeavor. I mean, Chugcore has been around in the scene for a long time, before I was even a part of it. I am not the original founder, in fact. It was started back in 2010, and that was before I had ever even heard of it.
All right. Well, you know what? Here, let's start to let's give a quick synopsis of what Chugcore is, what you do on behalf of Chugcore, and then we'll start to get into our interview questions.
All right, great. I can do that. So basically, when Chugcore started, it was mainly just a music blog where people can come and discover new music. We turned it into something that was more helpful for the bands, because back then all we did was post bands' music and the fans would come there and they would download the music. But we changed our policy we started talking to every band before we posted them, and we started becoming more involved with the scene, telling people that we were there and that we wanted to help, because honestly, it's hard for people to get involved in the scene. They want to join a label, they want to join a management, they just don't know how to start. So a lot of people were starting music blogs and just posting their favorite music, and some of them got really damn popular, and Chugcore was one of them. But those type of sites couldn't last forever, because the demand was really just for illegal downloads of albums, and as the bands got bigger and bigger, the labels just didn't want to see that. So that's why Chugcore, we decided to get in contact with every single band before we posted them. So everything you see on our site, like over 600 albums, we've posted those all for free. We've posted them all with the permission of the bands, and that's to help spread their names and get them out to a new fan base. And it's a promotional type of promotion that it's unlike anything else, because they're up there along with hundreds of other bands, so the potential for them all to discover new bands through the fans of other bands, it's really helpful.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little bit about what we do now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We still run our blog. It's still like one of our main focuses of Chugcore, but we've expanded. We use Facebook a lot more now. We started sponsoring bands, which is basically just a promotional agreement where we put our name behind the band, they put their name behind us, so it gives us a chance to really show that some of the bigger bands in the scene, they know who we are, and it helps other bands realize that we're a good company to work with. And putting our names behind the smaller bands, it helps them get their name out there, and people will see, oh, Chugcore sponsored this band, they must be good. I mean, we don't sponsor just anyone. Our criteria is really strict for as far as who we sponsor. We would never accept money just to sponsor a band we didn't like. We want every band on our roster to be bands that we personally really enjoy listening to. And one other thing that we've been doing, which is one of the big steps for us, is we've been doing this for quite a while now, is some exclusive premieres, which basically it's just a chance for us to work with the band for them to release their music through one of our sites, whether it be YouTube or Bandcamp. And the reason for this is that it helps the band get more views and more exposure by being on a channel where people know the name. And also it helps Chugcore because it gives us a chance to be involved with the scene. Without us having a channel to put videos up, it would be hard for us to promote bands, because you can't just post video links all day on Facebook, you'll get no reach on your Facebook. So we worry a lot about our reach on Facebook. We make sure we're keeping our fans engaged and try and do these exclusives and try and always make announcements that will keep people interested instead of just posting, hey, check this band out, hey, check this band out, hey, check this band out, like that type of thing.
Now, not to belittle anything whatsoever, but you guys have pretty much taken the operation of, let's say, Oprah's book club. You guys have wanted to get a solid name out there, a trusted name, and something that you guys would want to put your own name behind, and then tell everybody this is what is actually quote unquote hot in the streets.
Yeah.
Now that's an awesome thing.
Thank you.
Now, forgive me if this is too, like, I guess, behind the scenes type stuff, but I'm really interested in it. A lot of these, whether it's a booking company, a promotion company, whatever you want to call it, a record label, or even a distribution company, a lot of times they go through growing pains where there's a period of time where it really is just, we're going to post stuff we think is cool, and our main goal is getting likes. We're not looking at it like a business or a brand. The way you just described it, and as I could clearly see when I went to your Facebook page this week, you obviously know how to best market yourselves, how to find a quality product to put out there. And I know I'm using all these bullshit business terms, but that's what it is, which is really smart of you, which is actually going to give you guys and the bands you work with a real shot at a future in making a living off of all this. Did you guys ever have kind of a growing pains where you really were just like, I don't know, you were just putting stuff out there without a real business plan? And if so, how did you manage to transition that into making it a legitimate promotions and distribution company?
I mean, in the past, like I said, like the way we grew up was we grew up with blog sites who post music on demand. They just post whatever albums, and you search a band name online and you search blog or you search media fire, and you're going to find that album for free, almost every single album. So we wanted to stray away from that.
So it was kind of so it sounds like it was pretty natural, like, transition where the blog got popular and it was clear, like, oh, we can do something with this heat that we have, and then you guys formulated a plan and then started just to execute it step by step.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like,
how old are you, by the way?
I'm 24.
And that's incredible foresight to be able to make that transition. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it basically just came down to we saw that things were changing, and that we saw like that a lot of other sites were getting shut down for posting leaks and stuff, and we knew like just the more you post stuff, the bigger the bands are gonna get, like, because we're spreading the word to a lot of people. So as these bands get bigger and they start getting picked up by labels, that's where you have to watch out.
Yeah.
Because then you can get in a lot of trouble with posting that stuff. So we really wanted to be able. All we ever really wanted to do was help the bands. So when we realized there would be a way to help them without just posting like free download links and stuff like that, then we immediately started making the transition. I mean, it's weird. Like a lot of people will. We might have lost some fans because people like the fact that they can just come there and get any album they wanted for free, especially like the bigger bands, because they're more well known. But it's just not something that couldn't last.
James.
All right, so moving on to a bit of a different topic. Do you have a release from Chugcore that you're the most proud of, since you guys have done a lot of physical releases since March?
Physicals. Well, let's say we've printed. By this weekend, we're going to be on our 27th release, which includes the 2 new Dealey Plaza CDs. And I do have to say that I think Dealey Plaza is one of the things that we're most proud of, because we were able to come in and help a band that's already relatively successful in what they do, and they're a band that people look up to and stuff, and people don't realize that these type of bands actually, they might not be getting the type of help that they deserve. They don't have a label backing them. They don't have someone that ships all their merch. So they were going under a lot of stress trying to deal with all these orders. And we're just really happy that we can come in and step in and help them out and do our part for the scene.
For sure.
So definitely one of the ones we were most proud of because they're one of the bigger bands for us, and we were happy that we were able to actually help them out and something that was really bothering them.
For sure. Any other ones that you would like to highlight a little bit?
I'm actually looking up at them right now. I would say our biggest release so far probably has to be for the band King Conquer, because they were a band that was previously signed to a record label. Actually, they're still technically working with the record label now, but this was for one of their albums that was released before they were signed, so it's an album that the band owned the rights to. So they actually had 2 albums that came out before they were signed, so they released one of those on their own for physicals, and then we started talking to them, and they said it would be a great idea to release the other one as well. So that's when we were able to step in and help out with that. And they were not receiving a lot of support from their record label. They weren't even able to get in contact with their record label for about a year. So someone else had to come in and help them out, and that's what we did.
That's awesome. That's like really cool that you were able to step in and like help. Is revive the right word, or like help elongate their careers, like to help get more attention on them than they would have had from their label?
Progress.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Cool.
This might be a very simple, typical question, but I want to know, what's the most rewarding part about your job? What makes you want to do it every single day?
I would say this is actually a pretty easy question for me to answer. It's the fans and the bands. We love everyone we work with. We seek to be well liked in everyone's eyes. So we've always been about the fans, because our blog, it started like just, hey, let's give everyone all this music just so that they can have it. So that showed in the first place how we were committed to our fans, and then we showed our commitment to the bands by when we transitioned over to becoming a more legitimate promotional company. I mean, doing stuff for them has always been our number one goal, and making sure that they're satisfied. So whenever we help out a band and they say that they can't thank us enough, like, we feel the same way, because we're just so happy that we're able to do what we love and be involved in the scene truly. Like, because as I said, it's hard for a lot of people to become involved in the scene. People come to me all the time and they say, hey, I want to help Chugcore, I want to do stuff, but it's hard for me to just say, hey, I have all this stuff for you, like, just let's do it. It's more like you have to be innovative, and you have to come in with ideas of how to change things, how to do things better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where did your role come into play with this? Because if you're saying like, I know that you had known of Chugcore to the extent that you had wanted to get involved with it. Where did you come into play and start to help along Chugcore to the point of becoming a key player?
So let's see. Actually, in around 2013, I was using the site very regularly. I had noticed that it always had the best music as far as down-tempo and deathcore, and that was really at a time when nobody knew what the term down-tempo meant, and that is a whole topic on its own for discussion of how I've seen this genre literally become a genre and have hundreds of bands starting up out of nowhere saying that they play that type of music. But so in 2013, I became one of the admins for Chugcore after they posted my band. Started helping out. I was one of 4 people. 2 of the people disappeared off the face of the earth. So it became just me and one other person. And then eventually, I was basically the only one who was ever contributing. And I had all these ideas of where to take our company to sponsor bands. Like, I knew that our name was big in the scene, and I just wanted us to start working with as many bands as possible. So what I did was, with all these ideas that I had, I started finding different people to help out, and basically that's something that we've done throughout a lot of our career the last 2 years. Is we're always looking to partner up with other companies who are doing similar things. Like, we feel like working together is always the best way for us to all grow.
Absolutely.
So, have you ever had, whether it was band related or just like a mistake on the site's part, like just a colossal PR situation where you had to like kind of emergency fix something?
Hurricane.
Well, we've actually gone through a bit of some tragedy, which was we've been the victim of some hackers over the past year.
North Korea.
Actually, they destroyed our original Chugcore website, which had been active for 2.5 years. It had over 1 million views at the time when it was destroyed. It had a daily active fan base of around 3,000 viewers a day. And after the hacking, we have not been able to get back our original fan base even to this day. It was very destructive, and we still to this day have no idea who did it, why they did it. But back in November, that was the day tragedy struck. We lost our website. We tried to go to the website. It would just say you don't have access. Nobody had access. We were locked out of our website. The next day or 2 days later, they also found a way to remove our Facebook page and remove our Twitter and Instagram. So we lost all of those sites simultaneously within like 2 days. So it was almost impossible for us to even be able to reach our original fans. We told hundreds of bands, please spread the word, like that we're still around, like that we didn't delete our sites, like we don't know why this is happening to us. And it was extremely hard to deal with. And basically we just started remaking the sites one by one and just tried to get everyone to know that we were back. But I mean, to this day, like I said, our website still does not even get the same amount of views it used to get. And I mean, if it was never destroyed, I can't even imagine how much bigger we would be right now. So those people who did this to us, I have no words for them, because to destroy someone's dreams like that, like all we did was we were just trying to do something good for the scene and promote bands, and there was absolutely no reason for what they did. And it will always really upset me to know that if it didn't happen, like we could have been more successful. But I mean, I still think that we're eventually going to get the best of them, and we're going to become bigger than that.
That sucks, too. That's a good attitude to take, though. Did anything change with how you ran the website after that? Did it kind of push you into what you're doing now and taking those steps forward, at least?
When it did happen, actually, initially, we were not even sure that it was a hack. We thought maybe we violated some terms of service. So that was at the point where we made sure from that point on that every single post on our website, if we were posting a band's album, that we had permission from the band. But I mean, that was not what caused our sites to be removed. We know that for a fact because they couldn't terminate all the sites at one time. And we also weren't violating any terms of service at that point, because we had already primarily moved to only posting things that were very, very small bands and no signed bands or anything like that.
That's just like, I mean, you are coming back from that. I still, like, even to this day, I was promoting the episodes, like, oh, yay, Chugcore's back. I'm going to check them out now, even this week. Like, you just got to keep spreading the word and keep working with bigger bands, you know?
Yeah, that's our plan. I mean, the disappointing part is that after we recovered from this hack in November, and things started picking up in January and February, we had some huge months with tons of videos coming out. Unfortunately, I think it was back in around March or April of this year, very recently, again, we were broken into and our YouTube channel was removed. We lost 85 videos, which is a very considerable amount. Each of them had, several hundred to several thousand views. And that was another. That was one of the worst things we've ever experienced, because at that point we had so many more videos on our channel, and when those were removed, we had so many bands coming to us and saying, "What happened? What happened? Like, why would this happen?" And like, we were so upset. Like, we told them we were just as heartbroken as they were, because we worked so hard to promote those videos as well, and like, losing them, it hurt us so much, because we knew like, views matter a lot for bands nowadays. YouTube views matter more than people think they do. So throwing that all down the drain, like, bands were not happy, managers of bands were really disappointed, and like, it looked really negative for us, because people were like, "Oh, is their channel not secure? Like, they can be at break. Like, what if this happens to my band, or if I get uploaded to them?" But I mean, it's just really sad, because like, we had almost no idea. We had no idea how to prevent against things like this. Like, we set secure passwords. Like, we're not computer experts. Like, we don't know like how to deal with a hacker. Like, we don't have our own security that we pay for. Like, we're a really small company, so we were basically helpless. Like, under their power. Like, they had complete control. Like, they could do whatever they wanted to us, and it was really scary to think that someone was able to just do that to us and destroy what we had worked so hard to create.
Jesus. Yeah, like, yeah, that's pretty messed up. I don't know, like, why you would, like you said before, you don't know why, like, anyone would want to hurt someone that's trying to help bands. It's just so messed up, honestly.
We have no idea.
Let's try to move on to a brighter topic, because that's very very
let's
sad.
do that. Yeah, because that's
So what?
Like that's nearly as bad as about having like a band break into like
A van.
boxing.
Yeah.
Just have like, oh, there goes your trailer.
Yeah. Could you itemized list of all the things that were stolen from your band? Could you just do that for the next 10 minutes? Let's relive that.
Oh God! All right. So what are some future milestones that you hope to achieve with Chugcore in the next couple of months, or even years, possibly?
So one of the things that we really hope to become is, we hope to either start up a real like professional record label. That's something that we've been looking into. We just know that it takes a lot of different things to bring in together to actually go through. Like, we see lots of labels starting up all the time on Facebook, but we don't want to be just one of those labels, like an online label, like a Facebook label. Like, we want to be a nationally recognized label, like one with respect. So if or when we ever get into that, we will be doing it big. But that's not for the far future. For something that I'm really working towards is, I really like this distribution thing we have going on. I think it has a ton of potential. Like, there are so many bands out there in the scene putting out music, so we just want to keep bringing as many good releases to our store as possible. We're thinking about diversifying, like trying to hit like lots and lots of different genres as well. So one goal that I have is, I hope that one day we can have like a factory or like an office where we're have thousands of CDs ready to ship out, and like, for me to be able to employ myself and others to work in the music business would be a dream come true. To not have to feel like I have to work a regular job in an office to feel like I can do what I love for my career. That's something that I want to be able to accomplish. Absolutely.
For sure. Like, yeah. So I believe you were up next, Melissa.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Yes.
No, that's I applaud you a lot for that, because I know that's probably something that a lot of us want to do, make our dream our career. But yeah, no, shit, that's that's freaking awesome. But my question is, what are some of your marketing strategies that you will? I'm not sure if marketing strategies is the best word, but I know that you said that you like to be very trustworthy, and that was a word that really stuck out to me when you were first describing Chugcore. And I want to know what does Chugcore do to help gain trust with their fans and with the bands that they work with?
Well, to us, customer service has always been number one. I personally am responsible for all physicals that are sent out through our company. I don't want any other member handling it because I want to know for sure. Like, you don't know sometimes if you can trust people, especially people that you haven't met. So I know for a fact that I care about this a lot and that I will send out every single album that is purchased. If people tell me they never received an album, I'll send it to them. If they do that multiple times, then I'll know this person's not trustworthy. But for me, I trust anyone until they give me a reason not to. And we've shown everyone that we ship out our albums on time. We always try and give the best customer service possible, so that everyone, our fans, will love us. That's always been number one to us. And some marketing strategies that we use. We always try and do something interesting on our releases. Like we like to offer something unique or special, like a special poster that you can only order with the release. We've even done some cool stuff like handwritten lyrics by the bands. They write them up and we send them out with the albums that we put out. And we're trying to just do some cool, unique, original stuff. Just like anything you can do to give the fans something that they'll appreciate instead of just a normal CD. I've seen a lot of bands just putting out a CD in a cardboard sleeve, and to me that's like it's not enough. Like if you worked so hard on an album, you should put out a CD in a jewel case because it gives you the opportunity to like showcase the full product the way it's meant to be seen. You can have a booklet with all the lyrics. It's just a very nice, nice complete product. I've seen too many bands putting out sleeves, and to me, it almost does nothing when you open it up because there's nothing to look at.
Mm-hmm.
We try and keep people interested. Like we try and make almost every one of our releases in a jewel case. That's one of our main focuses as well.
Mm-hmm. See, I know that I like a jewel case actually. I know that I was working with an artist and she preferred just the sleeve, the cardboard sleeve, and I like just the feeling of an actual CD. So I think that's really, really cool. Definitely. But yeah.
Now I want to dip into your mindset, and I kind of want to find out where your fire came from to want to get so into Chugcore. Was there any? Do you have like any musical ties to like? Are you musically inclined? Do you play in a band? Have you just like started going to shows and you're just like, oh fuck, this is my people, and then like I want to now be drawn within the scene to kind of promote more kids, or just find yourself? You tell us.
I am a drummer. I was in a band a few years ago. That was a deathcore band. It's pretty fun while it lasted. It lasted less than a year, unfortunately. And since then, I have not been able to find any local musicians. During the time when I was in that band, I was also booking shows. I booked about 15 shows in my local area. So that's some of the experience I had in my scene. And I think it was just being a big music, like an avid music fan. I've always wanted to search for new bands and find new bands, and these type of blogs, they were always the best place in my opinion to find new music because you had someone going on there every day posting albums of a certain genre or style, and you knew when you come there you were going to find quality releases. So that's sort of I used Chugcore a lot personally before I joined it, and when I joined, my goal was just get everyone all of this music, get like this music out to everyone, discover as much new stuff as I could and put it up there because there's just so much good stuff coming out in my scene at least that I know about. I mean, you see hundreds of bands popping up every single day. It's crazy. It gets really hard to even keep up with all of them, to be honest. Like I could be listening all day to the amount of music that we get submitted every day to our website.
And at the time that you had joined the company, where was the popularity at, or where was the buzz at for Chugcore, and when did you guys start to see an actual following, or like an actual traction that you guys have gained?
Well, there's always been a following. There was a following before I joined. I mean, the fact it was Chugcore started in 2010. I joined in the summer of 2013, so it had been operating for a solid 3 years. And over those years, being a music promotion blog, um, you will get a following no matter what. Because if you're posting music, people are going to search on Google. They're going to see it. They're going to come to you. All it takes is just start posting as much music as you can, and that's how you get a following. So Chugcore has always had a following. The more you post, the better your reputation gets. Like we've always had followers all over the world. So our fan base is definitely pretty diverse.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, so I'm gonna ask this, and then I gotta peace out.
That's what I was figuring. Yeah.
And apparently there's cat puke, but you know that's typical. Sorry, no, I'm referring to this metalcore band I'm gonna listen to. Grindcore. I'm an idiot.
Oh, the grindcore band cat puke.
Okay.
See, it sounded more like grindcore,
Yeah.
like, you know.
All right, so as you had mentioned that you're looking into like setting up a record label, like a proper record label. Is this in doing so? Are you going to use any of the I guess the tips you kind of just gave us as far as like you want to overload on music if you're going to get a following? Is this label something that you're willing to take on as many clients as you are for your distribution company, or are you going to start really small and just try to develop a few bands in hopes that they'll blow up?
So yeah, I think that the distribution is our chance to work with a broad amount of bands. But as far as starting an actual record label, I think in order for there to be success, you have to be selective with who you work with, and you can't actively make 30 bands tour famous and already in it. Like, you need to find the ones that stand out the most, because there's unfortunately in the scene there's not a chance in almost any genre of music there's gonna be the top 5 or 6 bands, and then the more bands that start coming in doing the same style of music, eventually it's just gonna burn out. So there's just not enough opportunity to make all the bands big enough to be on tour and stuff like that. 'Cause there's just too many bands, and that's the issue. It's the sad part. It's just the best ones are gonna naturally make their ways to the top, and that's how I feel it is the way that scene usually works out.
Cool. All right, well, I am, not to break up the party, I know you guys are going to still wrap up with stuff, but I'm heading out. It's really cool to meet you, dude, and it's always lovely to be on, Ollie. Melissa and James, I'll see you on the internet.
See you on the internet.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, James. Eric. Wow. Woo. Mine's running a mile a minute. But I was actually going to have James segue into the next part. We're actually going to showcase one of the bands that you have brought on to try and start to distribute their stuff. And do you want to give some background as to who the band is and like the song that we're going to showcase and what you're actually doing for them?
If it would be cool, if this would be a good chance to give a shout out to just a couple of albums that I was really digging from this year so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we did say we were going to do that. I kind of ran that over. But yes, absolutely go on with your albums of the year so far.
Yeah, I'm going to lead into 2 upcoming albums. So far, one of the bands that I've really seen break out the most is the band Dark Complex, who used to be known as Widow.
Yes.
Their EP, Intrusive Thoughts, was definitely one of the biggest albums to take this scene by storm this year.
Yeah.
And I've seen members from so many bands praising it, so you know it has to be a good release when all those bands are listening to it. Who else was into the album? Who else was digging it?
Oh God, who? Obviously Villains tweeted about it, or Youth, or whatever they're fucking called now.
Whatever the fucking name is.
Yeah.
Good job, James.
They changed their name like 20 times. They were Villains, now they're Youth, and now they're Youth Forever or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
That was one of the bands that really Chugcore hasn't worked that much with. The other bands that I'm going to mention are bands that we've been working with a lot lately. One of them is the band Messenger of the Covenant. They recently re-released their EP called Wretchedness, and we're really proud to see how far they've come. There was a huge step up in the production on that release. That's one that we have available in our store as a physical. It's coming out soon, and it's going to look absolutely sick. It's one of the most brutal deathcore albums of the year by far. Another band is X King X. They released this album called The Gathering. It was 13 tracks of downtempo, probably one of the longest downtempo albums ever written to this day. And every single track except for the first track features a guest vocalist from a prominent member of the scene. There was Falsifier, there was Oceano, there was I can't remember that band's name. Bodysnatcher. There was a lot of bands in the scene. It was cool to see them incorporating all of their friends in and having a guest feature on every track that sort of made it so that that track was almost uniquely made for the vocalist that they were on. So I think that band did a great job with that. We're really good friends with those dudes. They give us a lot of support, and we can't thank them enough for that. Another band is Sabella. They're from upstate New York. Those guys are killing it right now. They just put out a 3-song EP. And you just gotta listen to them to really understand what their sound is about. It's very different. It's for the downtempo scene. It's almost got some singing in it and some alternative influences. And so the last 2 albums I'm going to talk about are 2 upcoming albums. One of them is from my boys in Destitute from California. They're releasing what's going to be one of the sickest downtempo albums of the year currently. My boy Jesse Kirkbride from Florida, he's doing the mixing and mastering for it, so hopefully that'll be all mixed and ready to go soon. Should be released within the next month or so, I'm hoping, and Chugcore is going to be definitely bringing that release to you guys either through one of our channels. And the last band is the band that you were just talking about, who we're going to showcase some of their music tonight, and who's someone that I've already brought up on multiple occasions. That is Dealey Plaza, and they're a band that I'm extremely excited to be working with. And basically we took over their merch orders that they were having a lot of trouble with, and now all of a sudden, only 3 days later, we're already telling you guys that we are hosting the pre-orders for their brand new album, which is much anticipated. It's coming out August 11th, and it's called Deliver Us. And one of the reasons why Dealey Plaza is a bigger band for us is because they used to be signed to the label We Are Triumphant. And for us, it's really cool to be able to work with a band that was previously signed and be able to still help them do more than they are on their own. It really shows how essential Chugcore can be to the bands if we're able to do almost as much as what one of these record labels was able to do. So we're really proud to be working with them, and we're going to show you guys 2 tracks. Which one we got first over there?
We have Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen first.
Let's
Which
do
we
it.
will be streaming. Yeah, so let's
Yeah.
That is the brand new. Just came out days ago. Short one, but it's you know.
Deliver us!
All right, so that was Dealey Plaza with "Oh How Did My Mighty Have Fallen," and that is on the Babetalk. When the episode, well, the episode's going to be available now. But yeah, so that was one of the bands, and we're looking at a second band that you had wanted to also showcase.
Actually, we were just gonna show one of their older songs to give. It's not really older. It's just came out a few weeks ago, but we were gonna give you more of a full preview of the band and how they sound. We should have the video link, I think. We got that. Yeah.
All right, we are going to be showcasing that, which is going to be Ollie playing the stall game. Hey guys, what's going on? I have a wonderful crew here. Hey James, how's it going? Shout out to James. All right, so this song's going to also be from the same band. It's going to be Death Anxiety. Is there anything that you would want to showcase or want to describe of this song as well?
Basically,
phrases come out of my mouth.
basically, Dealey Plaza is doing a great job mixing the sounds that they love to make, which is really great to see. They're not really a down-tempo band, but they are incorporating some down-tempo influences into their new album, and you'll hear that. It's really a mix of regular old deathcore and down-tempo, which in the down-tempo scene, I mean, it's relatively new, but there hasn't been a lot of incorporating other genres in and keeping it unique. So they definitely bring something new to the table, just like Sabella. I mean, that's another band who they're actually doing something different. So those are the bands that we definitely think are going to be really successful. So you just need to hear it. Solid. And
Now, if that is the heaviest thing you've heard today.
That was good shit.
he liked it.
I liked it a lot.
I'm happy. Bread in the wood. I don't know about guys, but I listen.
So, I'm pretty sure Ollie's mic is not working. Do you want me to wrap up the show? Not quite yet.
Daily Positive was too heavy. They
Hello?
broke the computer.
Yes, now we can hear you.
It was way too heavy, so it ended up breaking the computer. But no, I was saying before, I'm just like, oh, they're just ignoring me. Like, whatever. I don't want to discuss music anyway. Here on Babe Talk, but it's always awesome to see people who want to better their own communities and to showcase bands that they've worked with, like Delaney Plaza, who does well for their own scene, and they're making a great word for themselves, and you are helping them within their own progression, Greg, and that's an awesome thing to say.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be sharing both of those links that will be in the description of the video when we update it again, because we're professionally unprofessional. But we will be showcasing both of those songs. The music videos for both of these songs have premiered. Death Anxiety was premiered in February, and then the other premiere for Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen just premiered today, I want to say.
It was on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
And
Recently,
the music video has a cat in it, so make sure you watch it.
And it's hardcore with cats. You know, shit's going on. But Greg, thank you so much for talking to us, Catcore.
No problem. Anytime. It was great to be here.
Yes, thank you so very much. It was nice meeting you. It was great talking. James, Melissa, on behalf of Eric as well, we thank you. And we will see you guys soon. The only thing that I have to really say before we go is that we will be having Solving the Puzzle compilation stuff finally coming, and pre-orders and t-shirts and like album covers. Stuff will happen. It will be this week. By the will of God, it will be by the end of this week. So keep on the eye of that. Chugcore, look out for that. Well, not look out. Keep looking into it since it's already established. It's a great thing. We're Babe Talk, and we are going to be signing out. Good night, everybody.
Bye.